Well, hi everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday lunchtime, which means it is time for us to talk about coping with feelings. And the feelings that I have today are of great joy. And the reason is because of the updates that I got from a couple of our viewers, which I'm going to share with you in a second. But in the meantime, a very warm welcome to you all, and I hope you've had a great week. And hi there to Jeannie. Good to see you. And I wanted to say that today we will be talking about updates on Jeannie and on Jody, and also the visit that I had last night from Benji and little baby Leah. Well, she's not a baby anymore, toddler Leah now. It was just a really nice visit, and I was surprised to have them visit me, but I'll update you in a second. So, hi there to Jody as well. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin, and Jeannie backs her up very nicely, which I'm very grateful for. So, for all of you, I'm glad that we've all made it through another week and that we're all here together. I must admit that it was scary time this week with Jody having a major operation. Hi there, Karen. Good to see you. So, first of all, 3 weeks until Christmas. How many of you have got all your overseas cards long gone? It would be the time to send your other cards now, if you haven't. I'm actually working on my US cards now, and then at the end of the week I will send out my local ones. I hope that's my plan anyway. Birthdays. I know it's Pat's birthday tomorrow. For those of you who know Pat, and so we wish her a very happy birthday. And I'm trying to think who else. Uh, if we missed anybody, please let me know because it means that I am not seeing you on the database, and that would be important to me. If we don't have it in there, I won't be able to remember it. So, first of all, let's do an update on Jeannie. And those of you who were here last week knew that she was about to have a mammogram, and she already has her results, and she's fine. And I think that is wonderful. I queried the word fine, right? Because fine normally is something we say when it's not necessarily all fine. It's just like it's fine. It's not good. It's fine. So, but anyway, Jeannie assured me that it was good. So that's good to hear. I have not had the results from my mammogram yet, so I'll update you next time, probably this time next week. They say that to keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep our mind strong and clear. That was from the Buddha. And I want to say that that means that we keep it as healthy as we can. All right. That doesn't mean that it has to be perfect. If we're past the point where our body is perfect, it is perfect for now. All right. It's as good as it can be now. And I think that's an important thing to remember. Um, Yes, Jodie's saying that December 3rd is Sandy's youngest child's birthday. Yes, and I'm always a bit concerned about going how deeply we want to go into all those children because that's quite a it can go on quite a while. Um, so, oh, interesting. Thank you. Jeannie's saying that pink sweater looks great on you. Thank you. I actually don't wear it very often, but it was that it's cold today, and it was just like, yeah, I think that's the day to wear a sweater. So thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate it. So I wanted to get on to Jody. It's going to be a short broadcast today, just so that you know, basically because, as you can probably hear, I am struggling a bit with the cold. So that's going to make it difficult for me to talk. So let's get on to Jodie's update. And for those of you who don't know, Jodie, our admin, had a major operation this week. She had two things. Number one, a gallbladder removal, and then also an exploratory for some issues that she's been having. And so the wonderful thing is that she got through it all. So here's her official update. It says, thanks. As far as my update, just that my recovery is going well. It's a good thing I had this done when I did because the gallbladder was dangerously distended. Yeah, that's expended. Um, and that could be life-threatening very quickly. All right, so a bit like an appendix, I think. The surgeon found a previously undetected hernia, so it's good that he found that, and he fixed that one while he was at it. And then she will see him again on December the 15th to discuss whether the nausea that she's been experiencing has decreased or not. We're hoping that it has. And talk about the, I called it her crocheted intestines because there was an issue with her intestines sort of bunching up, and that was causing part of the problem. And I called it her crochet in her intestine. But apparently when they opened her up, it didn't appear that way. So we'll know more about it when she comes back, I'm sure, on the 15th. She didn't find anything wrong with the small intestine, but I'm pretty certain, Jody, that by the time they had pulled it all out and stuffed it all back in again, if that's what they did. How many stitches do you have, by the way? I always find this interesting, whether they did I forgot to ask that yesterday. However, for most of us, what we're interested in is how is the pain level, because Jody suffers from chronic pain anyway with other issues that she has. So she said the pain is about a 5 and no sharp pains when I breathe in, which is great, right? Please thank everybody for their prayers and kind words. So that's what I am doing. So I look at it and go, we are so fortunate to have each other at these times. Jody says, I have 5 incisions that were closed with glue. Really? And the internal stitches, I'm not sure. I forgot to ask. No, I didn't ask about my internal ones either. Jody, let me understand that. So they did 5 separate, 1-inch incisions so they could get a scope in and have a look? 5. That is a lot. And isn't it amazing that they can do incisions and just put them together again with glue? I presume that's super glue. I don't know why that sort of fascinates me that we've got to that stage in surgery. But I'm pretty certain that must be small, like 1-inch incisions, right? I cannot imagine they would do that with a big one. Like, yeah, that's one. So if anybody's got any questions, please pass them along so that I can ask for you. Or if you're listening right now, then ask them now so Jody can answer for you. I think it's really important for us to understand that, our body will keep challenging us. And there's no doubt about it. That expression that they say that youth is wasted on the young. And the fact that growing old sucks. It's amazing how, as you grow older and your body starts to deteriorate in different ways, you really realize how much you appreciated it when it was, well, you didn't appreciate it necessarily when you were younger and stronger. So I look at it and go, we just need to do the best we can with what we have. Thomas Carlyle said, he who has health, and he or she who has health has hope. And he who has hope has everything. Interesting. Jody's saying that the report stated that the surgeon was unable to remove the gallbladder in a way that he had intended due to how distended it was. It was supposed to be a 30 to 45-minute surgery, and it took well over 2 hours. Well, since when were you normal? And, it's just like, yeah, that why does that not surprise me? And by the way, Lionel was an absolute wonder. He kept me informed, and I did my best to keep him amused because, I'm certain the stress level for him was second to none. So, um, good to hear all of that. And as I said, it's sort of, I am very, uh, a little hesitant, not really about, the results of my mammogram, but I will let you all know the next time I get there. So, Jody, anything else you want to add? Or Jeannie, anything you would like to add about your mammogram? I just cannot encourage you enough, if you're female and watching, to have your mammograms. As you will probably know, uh, I had one that probably saved my life. Because they did discover that I had what they call DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ, which means that I had cancer in the duct of my boob. And they were able to see that when they did the mammogram. And so I am very, very fortunate that we picked it up when we did and that they got it. And I lost a boob in the process, but it's 2 pounds of flesh that I didn't mind giving up for my health. How about this? It's our job to tell them that imperfect health is and always has been perfect health, and that most things that go wrong with their bodies we cannot do much about. So maybe we do make a diagnosis, big deal. We hardly ever cure. And that was an interesting point because so much of being healthy is in our minds. Interesting. Jean is saying she has her mammogram once a year. Her both, it's in the family, right? Her mother and several first cousins all had breast cancer. Jody's adding, I think my update is complete so far. Thank you for everything, Sal, Jeannie, and all the dear Mama Sal people. Yeah, it's really important that we stick together through these times, and that's the whole reason why we do Dear Mama Sal, is to be there for one another as we go through these difficult moments. Robert Urich said, a healthy outside starts from the inside. Okay. Mm. I didn't know that. Jeannie's saying her mother lived with breast cancer, no operation because her heart was very weak. Wow. So I'm grateful to have been able to have had the operation. All right. So just a quick update now, and then I'm going to leave you all because, as you can hear, this is a bit of a struggle for me. Um, the update was that yesterday, Benji came to visit along with Leah. And it was a really nice visit. And I have to thank Jody because Jody gave me a link to some coloring pages for children, and so I got some Christmas coloring things printed out, which are still here, but she did color them. I also found that I had a sticker book that I had bought sometime. I'm inclined to buy them when I'm in the dollar store so that I can sort of use them as needed. And I happen to have one left, so I gave her that to play with. And what did I cook? Okay, let me think. I cooked a pork tenderloin, one of my favorites to cook. And just very, very easy. I made a sort of blueberry wine sauce with some leftover wine uh, and some barbecue sauce, some gravy mix, and onion, obviously blueberries. And I let that cook for a long time because that then it gets all the flavors permeating throughout the whole thing. So I probably cooked that for about 2 hours in the slow cooker before I even put the um, pork tenderloin in. And pork tenderloin doesn't take very long in a slow cooker. I think it took about 2 hours. And they're two pieces, so that was pretty good. And then what I did is when I served it, and I forgot to take a picture, I know that Benji did, so that might pop up on Benji's channel. But what I did was I served it, but then I had made, okay, what did I make to go with it? Grilled apple or baked apple, and I'll talk about that in a second. I had peas, I had what I call Sal's giant roast potatoes. And, what I do is I just take a regular russet potato, cut it in half, and then just with a brush, I just cover it with oil. Not too much, obviously, just a little bit of oil, and then bake them. So you've got a cross between a roast potato and a baked potato. And it really is very easy to do and very quick. When I say very quick, it's sort of half the time it takes to cook a full potato, obviously. So while I was baking the bread, which I cut and put away, rats. Did I have a picture? I must have had a picture because I think I sent one to Jody. So I baked some bread and then there we go. So there's the bread I baked. And I keep thinking about all those years that I struggled to make bread. And now I do it so easily. Oops, let me get back to where I was. Yeah, any minute now. Okay, so we had peas, potatoes. Eat the rainbow, right? Because it's Benji. So we all remember that whenever we're cooking, think about eat the rainbow. So I looked at the colors and I wasn't too happy with all the colors because the meat is sort of brownish. The gravy is brownish, obviously. The potatoes were brownish, and the peas were green, but you're like, where are all the other colors? So I made a cold slaw with all the other colors in it and some spicy mayo. And then I did beets and feta cheese and some corn on the side. So those were all cold things. And it was interesting to watch how Benji ate the food. Oh, wait a minute. Decoration. Jody, you always like to know about decoration. So what I did was I took the apple. Okay. All right. I'm sorry I didn't take a picture. But anyway, I took the apple and I cored it, right? I've got a core. You just stick it right down the center, take the core out. All right. And then I cut it this way. Like that. So I got rings of apple. And then I bake those in the air fryer just until they were soft, right? Almost starting to go a little leathery, you know what I mean? That sort of idea. And then when I cut the tenderloin, I put it on a meat plate, but I cut the tenderloin and then I put the apple on top. And then inside each ring, I had a maraschino cherry. Now I realize I probably could have done, that's a maraschino cherry. Okay. On a toothpick so that you could just pick it up and eat it. Now, a little extra work, but well worth it for the impact. You know me, I love the impact of food. And so Benji was fascinated. And I said, I grew up eating pork either with pineapple with a maraschino cherry in it or apple, as I did. So, or apple sauce, all right, with pork. And I said, now that I think about it, because I hadn't really thought about it before, but now that I think about it, quite a lot of English dishes had fruit attached to them. Was I expecting Benji? Yes, he did let me know he was coming. He knows not to give me a surprise visit. He contacted me at the beginning of the week to let me know that he was coming up. He had a reason to come up and said he'd like to come up the night before so he can visit. So that was really nice of him. Excuse me, everybody. Um, so, but what I was saying was it was interesting to watch Benji eat because he cut everything up for Leah, and then he had everything that was offered to him. He had the pork. By the way, the sauce was really tasty. I'm trying to think what else I put in there. I put a little bit of brown sugar. I put wine. I put blueberries, onions. A little bit of plum sauce went in. Oh, a little bit of Leon Perrin's Worcestershire sauce. It gives it a little bit of punch. And a little bit of HP went in as well. So all mixed up. And as I said, cooked very slowly for a couple of hours just so that it all permeated. And it really, was quite tasty. And then just before the last half hour, I threw more fresh, they weren't fresh, they were frozen, more frozen blueberries into the gravy mix so that was kept its shape rather than the stuff that'd been cooking for a long time. So I served the pork and then, poured some of the gravy over the top, not too much, just for the taste, and then put the apple and then the maraschino cherries. And then I had the rest of the gravy on the side for anybody who wanted more. And Benji took more. But, it was interesting to watch him eat nearly all the coleslaw. And then the beets with feta he took. He was saying that I had baby beets, and he said, had I grown them? And I looked at him and said, no, they came out of a can. I thought that was kind of him to ask that. But, just baby beets cut up with feta cheese and then just some corn. And corn really good for the digestion, and good for the body. Cellulose, I think. Anyway, so I know that it's a good idea. So there were lots of colors. What did we have for dessert? We had chocolate covered ice creams. I was going to do an apple pie type thing, but I realized that I had enough fruit in, excuse me, enough fruit in the slow cooker that it didn't need anymore. And then I did make Leah a strawberry banana smoothie, with a little bit of yogurt and some 2% milk. So yes, I want to tell you, blueberries, Jeannie, it's worth trying it. Blueberries is really good. And for example, Benji bought a bottle of wine, which he does, and he bought a bottle of Bordeaux because he knows I like Bordeaux. And, that will make many a very tasty gravy and, what's left in there. I don't, the half bottle that is left, I will just keep it and use it. All right, so Jody's saying, thank you, Jody. You could hear me trying to remember, right? Cellulose is a type of fiber called insoluble fiber. Its benefits include helping food move through your digestive system more quickly, thus preventing, clogs. Let's put it that way. It lowers the risks of developing diverticulitis. Yeah, now that is, Jody, that has to do with your veins, doesn't it? I have had a friend who had that. Very painful, apparently. Very itchy and nasty stuff. Anyway, I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I'm sure Jody's about to find out and tell me. So it was a really fun visit. Benji and I chatted about a lot of things, and obviously, it was one of those sort of visits where it was difficult to have a long conversation on anything because, obviously we were dealing with Leah, but she was very well behaved for the most part, I must say. she got a little bit antsy towards the end, but other than that, it was good. So, um, uh, and she didn't cry or react to me in any other way. She knew who I was this time, thank goodness. So that we're getting there with her, and it's difficult because they haven't seen me the way that they would normally have done. So um, I want you to think about the state your body is in right now, and as we go into Christmas, um, you know, how do you still enjoy Christmas, but don't do too badly? All right, so there we go. Thank you, Jody. It's the diverticulitis is inflammation of the colon causing pain and disturbance of the bowel. I didn't know it was disturbance of the bowel function, but I also have a feeling that it shows up in the veins in some way. Um, I don't know why I have that. Well, I have that feeling because somebody I know had it, and that was it had an external component to it. Um, anyway, so there we go. I think what I'm trying to get to here is as we go into Christmas, let's talk about this, all right? How can we go into Christmas, and Benji and I were having that discussion about how I had managed to control my food, um, and keep it within the pre-diabetes range rather than go into diabetes. And we were talking about the balance of eating the rainbow. In other words, when you look at your plate every day, have you got all the colors on it? Have you got yellow? Have you got red? Have you got orange? Have you got green? Very important. Um, because if you've got all the colors, the chances are that you have got more vegetables or more fruit than you have carbs and meat. Does that make sense? In order to get all those colors, you have to eat quite a bit of the good stuff. So I look at it and go, if you know, oh, first thing, and this to me is a really important thing. This is a dinner plate, okay? This is a side plate, and this is a dessert plate. If you want to control your diet in any way, um, take a dinner plate and forget that. All right, except for when you go out or you're entertaining, as I was. All right, eat off a smaller plate. Okay, have the same meal but on a smaller plate. And as Jody will tell you, you can actually get a perfectly balanced and adequate meal on a dessert plate. Jody, am I correct on that? We actually don't need more than probably this plateful. Now, unfortunately for me, Benji not only bought wine, but he also bought a box of cookies, and they were those Canadian maple cookies. And he didn't take the what was left over with him, did he? He left them. What cookies? Because I finished them. Because what I've learned is sometimes it's better to eat all the sugar in one day. And then I drank a great deal of water. Jody taught me that one. A great deal of water. And then went, okay, I enjoyed that. So yes, Jody is just saying luncheon plates or dessert plates are great for portion control. Yep. So if you can, over Christmas, doesn't matter, think about trying to not eat more than this plate size, right? And then if necessary, if you eat this amount of food and you go back for seconds, which you probably will, it's Christmas, you will probably end up eating no more than this plate size. as opposed to this plate size and then go back for seconds. Am I making any sense there? So that's the first thing. That's the one thing that I learned early on. And quite honestly, when I freeze my food, and I had enough pork tenderloin left over, I was able to freeze 2.5 complete meals. And the reason is I now know what 3 ounces of meat looks like, because that's basically 3 to 4 ounces of meat is a portion size. So it's a couple of nice size, I think about 3 slices of pork. But then I also had baked potato, half baked potato. I had two halves of baked potato left, or I call them giant roast potatoes. So I've put those and frozen those as well. So, and I had some peas left over. So, I managed to make 2 complete meals and half a meal that I will have tonight. And what I like about pork tenderloin is it's very tender. Pork can be pretty tough if you don't cook it nicely. And so what I find is that slow cooking in any meat, makes it that much better. And I must admit, you remember I said I went over to my neighbor's last week, and she did pulled beef. I've had pulled pork, but I've never had pulled beef, really, that I can remember. But it was so good. And I'm going, I guess in, what do you call them? Yeah, I must have had pulled beef now that I think about it, in a bun, right? But she had pulled beef, and it was like, with Yorkshires. She almost had Yorkshire sandwiches. It was just like, yeah, but it was so tasty. And the gravy, you see, and she also makes gravies, and I think that's part of it for me. That the reason I enjoy her cooking is we cook pretty basic stuff, but it's tasty, really tasty. And you either grew up eating gravy or you didn't, and that's the interesting thing. And everybody gives gravy a bad rep, but to me, it's just a little bit of cornstarch. It's not a whole lot, and a lot of very nice juices. So it works for me. So that's the first thing, right? Think about your plate size as you're going through Christmas. And also, there was that moment when I said, I really need to freeze these cookies rather than sit here and look at them, or else eat the whole lot. And I decided I'm just going to eat the whole lot. And if you suddenly see me start coming out in spots and things, you'll know why. Right? There's toxins trying to get out of my body. Right. What else have I got? I'm trying to think. Any questions about the pork? Oh, interesting. Karen's talking about just learning about castor oil packs for healing the body, if anybody's interested in it. Yeah, I've seen that. And why does it work? That's what I would like to know, Karen. Obviously, you've done some research in it. So you put the castor oil in a pack, and then you attach the pack to your body. Is that correct? Like your wrap. You have a wrap that you put a castor oil pouch in. I've seen the wrap, and I've often wondered whether it works. So tell us more. I for one, am interested. So yes, please. Castor oil, I remember from having to take it as a kid. And it was not a good memory, but externally, I wouldn't mind. And I have no idea why I am sniveling so much today, but I am. It's just like I thought I was over this cold, but apparently not. So yeah, such is life. Karen saying, I don't know much yet, just starting to learn about it. Okay, well, that's a good thing. So keep us informed, Karen. And I certainly will have a look at it as well and see what I can find out. But what I was trying to find out, and I wonder if any of you have done that, you keep seeing these. I was talking to Benji about this actually. These sort of, what do you call it, clickbait things about add this to your coffee and drink it every morning and you will drop hundreds of pounds. Have any of you seen that sort of, and it's clickbait stuff, right? Because everybody wants to lose weight. So, but when you click on it, it's just another come on and then another one and then another one. I never have found out what it is that's in it. So if any of you have got as far as finding out what they recommend, I've got a feeling that it is apple cider vinegar and maybe bicarb. I've got a feeling bicarb is involved. So if any of you have had the patience to watch it all and find out what it's all about, you do understand it is a wonderful thing for getting a lot of views for a long time. And that's why they do it, as you probably know. And I get bored. So I'm going to, yeah, Jodie's saying the same thing. I've seen the ads, but haven't watched them all the way through. I've yet to find somebody that's managed to watch it all the way through. I certainly didn't. But, such is life. How about this? To enjoy the glow of good health, you must exercise. I want to tell you, forget the word exercise and think movement. All right? Because quite honestly, if I think about it, yesterday I did not exercise, but I moved nearly the whole day. I rarely sat down. I was so busy in the kitchen and doing stuff. And I know that that was much better for me. By the way, I want to go back to Benji and this. I asked him if he knew what the secret was to this stuff. Again, Benji said, it's all a con. Whatever diet fad there is, it's just basically somebody trying to push some thing. But he said, the best diet you can have is to eat well and not too much. Eat well and in moderation. So it's not a case of you can't have anything. It's just you could have maple sugar cookies, just don't have them every day. All right. And, when was the last time I had maple sugar cookies? And do you agree that a healthy outside starts from a healthy inside? I think our mentality has a lot to do with our health as well. So even though I can't do as much, my mobility has been affected with the drugs that I had to take. Even though I can't do as much, I still feel pretty good in myself. What is it Doug always says to me? My soul is at peace. In other words, I'm happy that I can do what I can do. And I'm sure Jody is happy to be able to talk to us today. All right. That was, pretty frightening stuff to go through when she's already ill, and to go under anesthetic when you're already, uh, immune compromised and everything else. That's scary stuff. It's scary when you're well. And so um, I look at it and go, it is our um, ability to cope. And I think hope and cope go hand in hand. If you still have hope, I said to Jody, when you get out the other side, there to be no upchucking. Now, the reason I do that is because I wanted to make sure she knew that I expected her to come out the other side of this operation. And secondly, I knew that when they'd been playing with her bits the way that they had, that upchucking would be not something she wanted to do. Okay. Interesting. Karen saying, I'm just starting to crochet your new blanket, by the way. It's probably going to take a while. I just love the fact that you care that much, Karen. Um, that's so kind of you. Thank you. So the other thing, I want to give you some feedback. How many of you remember that I went out and I bought for the first time in my life some flannel sheets for this winter, because I've been having a lot of problem with my feet being cold. I noticed it all last winter that my feet were extremely cold most of the winter. And so what I decided was maybe it's worth trying flannel sheets. And I tell you, excuse me, I want to tell you that that was the best thing for me. I have not had cold feet at all. Don't even need to wear socks in bed. My feet have been really nice and comfortable, and so has everything else. Um, I want to say that it is just amazing the difference it's made. And I because I keep my bedroom at about. All right, I got to see what this is in both official languages. Hold on a second. Wait. I'll find it. Yeah, I keep my bedroom at about 68. I think that is what it is in American. At about 68 degrees. Because it's the coldest room in my house, and also because of the pipes are in there, a lot of the bathroom and everything else. So I keep that area at about 20 degrees to make sure nothing freezes. However, even with that, I found that my feet were getting cold at night. So since I've had the flannel sheets, haven't had the problem. And it's just something like even when I wrap it up and around my, like this, sometimes I don't need the duvet and everything else. I just, just the flannel sheet is just so nice and warm. It's just surprising. And I don't know if any of you do the same thing. I always thought, I don't know why I've never bought them. And there's an issue about washing them. I don't know if you know that, but if you have them, wash them on their own, right? Don't put them in with other washing, because the more they rub against stuff, the more they pill. They get their little balls that you don't want. And so just remember, and always give it an extra rinse, because that will keep them soft. Anybody else got any um, additions on that one? And by the way, my pillowcases are also flannel now, and that's also nice and toasty. Yeah, it really mine came with quite good instructions about that, and I hadn't really thought about it, but basically, if you can, almost just there's part of me that goes, you'd probably be well even to just steam them clean. You know what I mean? Put them in the dryer with a wet towel and let the steam sterilize them. Yeah, my flannel sheets have matching pillowcases, and boy, are they soft. Really nice. So I just, the reason I'm talking about it, as you can probably hear from my voice, I'm almost incredulously surprised at how comfortable they are. And I'm definitely not sorry I bought them. So there you go. And I did buy good ones, by the way. I've got to make that point. Can't remember the name of them. But I did buy good ones. I didn't buy cheap ones. Makes sense. Now, Jody will tell you that whenever I buy good anything, and actually anybody who knows me will tell you, good to me is not the cheapest, not the most expensive. They are the high end of the mid range. Does that make sense? The cheap ones, I find, I bought something once, flannel type sheets. I think they were that, what do you call it? T-shirt material. And I washed them once, and they were just a mess. So, don't buy cheap. Buy well-made ones that you can get your money back if necessary. Yep. Would be my recommendation. All right, I'm going to get out of here. And I wanted to say that I really appreciate all of you being there, but not only for me, but for Jody and for Jeannie and everybody else as well. And also to remember, you don't have to go through these things alone. Yeah, Jody's saying that. That's how I shop now, looking for the high end of the middle range. All right. Yeah, you'll find the best deals there as well. And also, I find that you will. It's the same thing as if you know your stuff. It's amazing what you can get in that range. All right. And so that my air fryer wasn't, it was not the most expensive one, but it was close to the most expensive one. Whenever I buy a phone, all right, if I go in to change my phone, I will never buy this year's phone, right? I always buy the one they're trying to get rid of. And that to me has saved me hundreds of dollars, all right? So yes, thanks. Karen saying, feel better, Mama Sal, and Jody, and everyone else not feeling great. I'm feeling great, except I know that it's a bit of a strain. When I say it's a bit of a strain, but you can hear that my throat's a bit sore and I'm sniveling, and I hate that when I'm on live. So I wanted to tell you all that I love you dearly and that Jody is doing great. And Jody, thank you for making sure that you were well enough to be here today. That doesn't go unnoticed by people at all. The fact that you went through that, all that, and you're still here with us is, really important. Love you dearly, and I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will hopefully see you on Sunday, God willing. Thanks for being here, everybody. Bye bye for now.